Hello, Cryptonauts, and welcome back to another episode of Cryptocurrency Chat here on the channel that we always broadcast from. It is Wednesday, June 21st, the summer solstice, longest day of the year up here in Northern California, where the sun sets after 8:30 at night. Holy crow! And it came up this morning at 5:41. I don't know why I know that statistic. No, I know exactly what it is. I looked it up. Anywho, we're here on Crypto Bubbles. My name is Jake Gerrelli, and I'm co-hosting here with John, Blockchain John in particular. What's going on with these
Howdy.
bubbles? What's going on with these bubbles, John?
A lot of bubbles because the market's up, man. We are up. Everything is pretty much in the green except for Hex and what was the other one? Ripple. Ripple's down a bit. Yeah.
Hex and Ripple. Yeah. So the market has a big boner, if you can't tell by looking at things like
Pretty much.
CoinGecko,
Pepe.
big green boner. Yeah,
So that is.
it's a big green boner. Looking up to the right,
Wow.
it swings right. Certainly does. We're going to talk about Pacific Bitcoin, the conference coming up in early October later this year, Los Angeles, California, in the hangar of what's it called, Santa Monica Airport,
Yep.
big event center. It is Bitcoin only. Please don't talk about anything else except Bitcoin. You probably get evicted from the conference. Oh, sorry, the festival. It's a party. Talk about Bitcoin. Prices are roughly up. There's no more discount. At least not my page isn't showing that anymore. General admission ticket 550, VIP ticket 2800. They don't have the discount prices any longer.
Yep. There it is, man.
So all this is sponsored by Swan. If you're seeing Swan everywhere, it's because it's sponsored by Swan. There'll be a lot of people talking at the conference, but it's Bitcoin only, so don't talk about anything else. We're also going to talk about Nashville's Bitcoin 2024, which will be happening at the end of July, so like 13 months from now. It's a long time off, but you can at least use Satoshis to buy your tickets. Tickets are a million sats for the general, 2.5 million for the industry, and 15 million for the whale pass. Looks like the price came down because the price of sats has gone, or actually, the price of sats have gone up. The value of sats to fiat has changed in the last 24 hours.
Yep.
So the number of sats you have to spend has decreased, which is awesome. And so let's get on to the news here. Come on, hit us with the noise.
Okay. Fed chairman. Oh, sorry. Fed chairman Powell says Bitcoin has staying power as an asset class. All right, here's a quote. We do see payment stablecoins as a form of money, Powell said, adding that the ultimate source of credibility in money is the central bank.
So yeah,
Wow,
the Federal
really?
Reserve. That's the Fed chair Powell is talking about. He's basically advocating, not abdicating, but advocating for a CBDC, and he thinks it's a good idea. But he wants to be really, really certain that if the Fed does this, that it has complete and utter, control, which makes sense, right? It's the U.S. government; they want complete and utter control, utter hegemony. So.
Yep.
They're just worried in his commentary that if they do a CBDC, that it might get out of control because the states might want to try to take over and do it for themselves. And they're like, no, 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 no. A central bank digital currency is the whole point of why fiat is, or at least the U.S. Dollar fiat is so popular throughout the world. It's a sovereign currency, and it is very, very popular. It's been that way for almost 60 years. Or actually, that's more like, it's almost 60 years at this point. 50 years, sorry, because it was when Nixon did it in 1972 and took us off the gold standard. And he basically made everybody else say, look, we're the most stable economy, we're the awesomest, we're the world police, right? So you're going to use our currency, and that's the way it's going to be. But, everything's moving toward digital currency now. It's been becoming much more popular. So because of this, the Fed is like, well, we need to have our own digital currency, and we need to be just as strong as the U.S. dollar is. So yes, we should do I mean, this is, like I said, this is Powell, the Fed chair, advocating for this. Not every single person advocating for it, but I mean, he does have a lot of sway. Obviously, he's the guy who sets the price of interest, or the value of interest.
Coincidentally, I tweeted out yesterday that the IMF is getting ready to push out a CBDC. That's quite powerful, man. They're not joking around. there's a lot of there video clips of them discussing that. And yesterday was on their website. If you go to the IMF website, you'll see their papers. I don't I want to say white paper because it's literally a PDF white paper, but basically telling you what the breakdown is of the CBDC and how they plan on implementing it.
Now, one of the things I guess it's concerned for those. I mean, the reason John and I are so heavily interested in crypto, not just crypto alone, but Bitcoin in general, and we're not, I wouldn't call us Bitcoin maxis, but it's the fact that it is the only thing that is the most stable against the dollar, the US dollar. Because the US dollar just keeps getting less and less valuable over time, and it's obvious from how it reacts to Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's value doesn't change, even though it looks like it changes because the price of it compared to, or I should say, the exchange value between U.S. fiat and Bitcoin changes all the time. So people are like, oh, look, the value of Bitcoin's gone up. Like, no, it's always been the same. The value of the dollar went down. That's what you saw. So as the value of the dollar continues to drop, the value of it compared to Bitcoin will continue to increase. So, yeah, the reason they want to do this, as far as it seems why Powell is saying this, is that the digital currency, it does have its values, as we all know, especially those who have been involved in crypto for as long as we have. And they just want to take advantage of that. So.
Hashtag say no to CBDC.
I'm not 100% against it anymore, and the reason I'm not against it is because Bitcoin exists, and I'm 100% certain that the CBDC, whatever the U.S. decides to go with, will be tradable against fiat. I mean, against Bitcoin. So you'll still be able to trade CBDCs for Bitcoin. In fact, if anything, it'll make it a whole lot easier because trying to trade U.S. dollars for it's a pain in the ass. So I'm not saying it's good for. I'm not saying it's good for the people. I'm not saying it's good for the people. I'm just saying it's good to have one. No.
When you have a government that's putting regulations on that CBDC saying that you're not allowed to buy Bitcoin.
That's all I'm saying. I'm saying you have these other choices. You have Bitcoin. It is a coin that is valid. It does exist, and it can be used. You have another option besides U.S. dollars. If at some point you need to trade back to U.S. dollars in order to pay somebody, fine. But you still have Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still an option. Lightning or whatever you want to end up using. Dogecoin, doesn't matter. There are other options out there.
Well, speaking of Lightning, there's some work being done by Coinbase on the back end. They haven't came out publicly, but apparently there's some devs on the back end building out their Lightning node, Lightning network.
Yep.
So we might see something similar to Cash App coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
With Lightning.
A lot more Lightning nodes,
cool.
Which is awesome because we need more Lightning nodes. We need more Lightning use. I mean, it's Bitcoin itself. It's just faster Bitcoin. That's the name. All right, continuing on with federal agencies form a new U.S. crypto crime task force, CCTF. Is that like the fuck?
What?
The Darknet Marketplace and Digital Currency Crime Task Force formalizes a prior collaboration between 5 law enforcement agencies. So, I have to admit there has to be something that the government's going to have to do with this. They've dealt with Bitcoin ever since, what's it called, Silk Road, when they attacked Silk Road and took all that Bitcoin.
Yep.
So they have to be able to deal with this. And if they're not going to crush crypto into the ground and make it completely useless, they're going to need to figure out some way of dealing with it, which is good. And we need some way of managing crypto. The best thing about crypto, at least from a law enforcement standpoint, is it's easy to track, at least right now. Until we get more mixers online and it gets harder to track. Right now, at least, it's somewhat easy to track because it's all public information. You can see where the coin's going exactly. This is what ZachXBT does all the time. So, yeah. So, dubbed the Darknet Marketplace Digital Currency Crimes Task Force, the new interagency group will investigate how criminal gangs within Arizona, at least, use crypto and dark web for crimes including drug trafficking, money laundering, personal data theft, and child exploitation. So yeah, I'm all for it. Come up with some way to investigate. Come up with some people who are really smart and know what they're doing when it comes to tracking crypto. Probably I hope they contract with ZachXBT on occasion because he's really good at what he does.
That'd be cool, man. That would be really cool. What they don't say on this article here is which five agencies are coming together.
Yeah, well, at least they talked about Arizona, but yeah, it's the order was roundly criticized, lacking
Actually, no, they're
originality.
right here. They're right here.
Yeah,
I got it. It's representatives from the Homeland Security and Investigations. That's of Arizona.
yep.
One. Number two, the Office for U.S. Attorneys.
Hmm.
Two. The third is the Internal Revenue Service Criminal Investigations. Three.
Yep.
And number four, the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Postal Inspection Service.
Yep.
Four. What about the fifth one?
Well, that's it. Arizona attorneys, IRS, drug enforcement. No, that's five. So
Okay.
it's the Homeland Security, U.S. Attorneys, Internal Revenue Service, Drug Enforcement, DEA, and Postal Inspection Service. So that's five.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that's fine.
yeah. So it's good to see that someone is taking the initiative, recognizing that there are plenty of crimes committed with crypto, and they need to be able to handle it in some way, shape, or form. I'm grateful for this. It's an awesome idea.
What I think is cool, I wouldn't mind doing this job, bro. I'm telling you, this is actually a really cool job. Just kind of being like a what's his name, a Robin. Like Zach XBT can be Batman. I'll be his Robin.
You're the sidekick.
Let's do it, man. Let's
just
do
kicks
it.
you in the side. Hey, sidekick, how you doing? All right, let's move on to wisdom tree here. So this is a BlackRock.
Wisdom tree.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Hold on a second. Wait. Hold on. Wisdom tree. Investco. Follow BlackRock with spot Bitcoin ETF applications. All right. What do we have here? Let's see. The SEC is facing a fresh wave of spot Bitcoin ETF applications from major investment firms in the wake of BlackRock filing.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh. So what's
It's
interesting is about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think this is officially week 3 of the SEC cracking down on a bunch of exchanges. The SEC just came left and right, just attacking pretty much all these exchanges, telling them that they're all listing securities. Right.
Yep.
This is week 3, and I think on week 2 is when BlackRock. So last week BlackRock came forward and says, hey, we actually want to apply for a spot trade ETF. And everybody in the crypto space was like, "What? WTF?
Right now?
Like, why would you consider that at a time like this?"
Yeah, WTF
And Uncle
ETF.
Gary is, spraying everybody with the Gatling gun. What was that?
Yeah, it's a WTF ETF.
WTF ETF?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's kind of sus that BlackRock does this at this time, but it gave confidence to a lot of other companies out there, like Fidelity. I guess Fidelity's considering buying out Grayscale. If you don't know, yeah, that's actually a thing. Because they want that Fidelity wants that the Bitcoin spot.
Yeah, they want the foray
spot
into
ETF.
into Bitcoin easily. Yeah, they'll have to build it all up
So
themselves.
the only way
Grayscale
to
already
do that
has
is
it.
to buy out Grayscale, and everything's looking very positive on that end.
Yeah. So yeah, in any case, it's more of a news is in the title, but the fact of the matter is because BlackRock has filed their ETF application, everyone's like, "Oh, you guys doing it? Well, we already have one. We wrote up. Let's just do it on the coattails of these guys because they're probably going to succeed. And when they succeed, we want to succeed."
Yeah, and this is actually when the FOMO started, when they came out publicly saying that they want that they are applying for spot ETF. Yeah. So last week is when everything kind of, instead of going down, kind of settled off, then slightly ticked up slightly. Then of course this week 3 of the SEC crackdown, we're seeing an interesting bull going up like 20%. Yeah, that's what it was, right? 20%.
I mean, it kind of makes you wonder. BlackRock invested in Coinbase, probably invested in Binance too.
Yeah.
And they're
Well,
like,
actually, so what that's what's kind of interesting. So, if BlackRock does get this,
yep.
BlackRock is using. So even though that's what blows my mind. Even though Coinbase is being attacked by the SEC, and they're over here showing favoritism towards BlackRock, BlackRock is using Coinbase as their custodian.
Right. So yeah, it's kind of like, well, I mean, it makes sense then that they're trying to fight back in some other way and say, hey, we're the big dog, we can do this. It does make me wonder because it's not just an application; it's an application with lobbying, which means that BlackRock is like, hey, SEC, we would love it if you'd accept our bribe. I mean, approve our application.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Definitely caused a great deal of FOMO, right? We went from what, 25K, 26K, all up to 30K. That's not a small jump. You said it was 20%, right?
Yes.
So 20% jump in the last, what, 24 hours? And yeah, that's pretty significant. But I still am not. I mean, the thing about it, if BlackRock gets denied, that will be a huge slap in the face.
Yeah, then everything will go back down.
And then everything will go back down.
Stack more stats.
And that's, I mean, at
And
that point,
I feel like Scrooge McDuck can just buy more sats.
Well, at this point, then, since it's up, you should sell some of it. That way, when it goes down, you can rebuy at the lower price.
For a 20% gain, no, because I'll just burning through that with fees.
I didn't say all of it. I said some of it.
No.
All right, fine.
No.
All right, so yeah, BlackRock created this boost, which is great because now what's his name is back in the black again, Michael Saylor. But just for until it goes back down, anyways. So Charles Schwab, Citadel-backed startup, is building crypto plumbing for big banks. What? Plumbing? What do you need plumbing in the digital world? The crypto exchange called EDX Markets and backed by several Wall Street firms such as Charles Schwab, Citadel Securities, and Fidelity, which we just mentioned, conducted its first trades on Tuesday, signaling some institutions are hightailing it for the hills on crypto despite recent regulatory pressures in the U.S. They're not leaving. Well, we already know, based on the fact that BlackRock has been, filed their ETF, that people are buckling down or doubling down on crypto even more. What do they know? What do they think? What's going on here? Well, all right. So, this in particular. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm still looking through this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, they're basically saying that they need some way to help traditional banks, particularly people involved in Wall Street, who still don't really seem to comprehend crypto. They need some way of getting money through this situation. So they're building what they call a middleware technology to kind of offer that kind of thing. It's literally another way of saying a pipeline, right? What is plumbing? Yeah. A bunch of pipes. And so they need a way for people who don't fully understand crypto, or for that matter, people who are trying to channel gargantuan amounts of money into crypto, to be able to do that very thing easily. Not just like, well, do I go on my computer and move my $5 million or my whatever $1 billion into crypto, and how do I do that? Well, they're trying to build up a interface or I guess you could say like a department that will be able to handle people's large sums they're trying to move back and forth.
It's a clearinghouse, man.
Yeah. So they're just trying to build another way.
Off the top.
Right. They're trying to build another way for people to do this. And it's funny because they actually talked to Michael Saylor in this series. The window to front-run institutional demand for Bitcoin is closing, says Michael Saylor in a tweet referencing EDX. So it's not like they don't know. But, I mean, as the price goes up, there's going to be more enthusiasm as well as more build. But the last time the price was up, it was up to, what, $69,000? Nearly $70,000. And so we're a little bit less than half of that right now. And if BlackRock does get its ETF, I would not be surprised if we saw another 30 or 40% increase. Honestly, it could be a lot more than that. But I'm not saying that crypto doesn't need another boost. It does. We had a boost during the pandemic. That was because the U.S. government poured $3.5 trillion into the coffers of the people. And what did they spend it on? Crypto. So
their website's a little
janky,
outdated, I guess I can say. Yeah.
Well,
everybody
needs a booster, right? They're like, hey, can you guys give us some more money so we can make a better website? We'd appreciate it too if you like our content. We'll take a donation. So yeah, this company is trying to make it easier for big banks to get into crypto, and obviously it's backed by Charles Schwab and Citadel. And
well, actually, a lot of companies I'm looking at. So they got Fidelity Digital Assets, Citadel, Paradigm, Sequoia, Virtu Financial, DV Chain, GSR, and GSR is big. GTS, HRT.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not a terrible thing. Anyways, moving on to something about Binance.
Binance set to integrate Bitcoin Lightning Network for deposits and withdrawals. Yep, like I was mentioning. So it was Binance and Coinbase. So Coinbase is working on this as well. Let's see what this is. The crypto exchange is running Lightning nodes ahead of fully integration Bitcoin Lightning Network payments. But yeah, they're pretty okay. Yeah, I thought I heard about Binance. I just wasn't quite sure. But I know that Coinbase is doing this as well. So everybody's jumping on the Lightning bandwagon. Yay! Finally.
Yay. So it's not
We
just
can finally
El
do Lightning
Salvador
atomic
and
swaps.
Nayib Bukele, who he kind of spearheaded it 2 years ago, and now finally everyone's catching
And
up.
I was, Jake, I was looking at this interesting thing, and I still can't wrap my head around it because it's a little too advanced, but I'm still doing some more research on it. It's atomic swap on Lightning, where you can atomic swap your ordinals from from Lightning over to from Bitcoin Lightning to I don't know, Litecoin Lightning, I guess.
Well, that's kind of neat.
Really cool.
I don't. Would that be practical to use to be able to move a Satoshi-backed Bitcoin ordinal onto Light? I guess I don't know why you'd do that unless it's no. Because I mean, if it's on Lightning, it's already gonna be very quick to move.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying ordinals in general. I'm not sure what. Maybe it's just token backed. Maybe just coin to coin. Your atomic swapping from BTC Lightning to Litecoin.
Yeah, I guess so.
Lightning. Yeah. I got to look more into it. I don't know how it works. It's kind of boggles my mind that it's all off chain or side chain. So how does this? That's what main chain. I understand for layer one. I understand how that works. With Lightning, I don't understand how that's even possible.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure someone's trying to build a chain. The only thing that always bothers me about secondary chains is like what happened with Polygon and the trading that was going on there, especially through OpenSea. Because when OpenSea was making trades available, they were doing primarily on secondary chains, but then they weren't closing the transactions, and people's stuff got stolen. So it always bothers me when people do secondary chain stuff to make transactions like that. So you guys gotta make sure you close those transactions. Or someone's gonna sneak right in the back door and steal your NFT, or in this case, ordinal. I don't know how ultimately that works. I just know that secondary chains always bother me when there's no closure. So.
All right. So for the viewers and listeners out there, if you guys want to try out Lightning for just $1, $2, whatever it is, something like low entry point.
Yep.
You can use the Cash App, and you can just send to hashtag or $ blockchain John. Send it my way so you know that it works.
Yeah, let's get blockchain John $1 million in Litecoin. Come on, you guys, you can do it. Just $2. Just $2 from 500,000 of us fans, and he'll have $1 million.
What was that one guy from like a couple weeks ago? He says, "Hey, send me Satoshis, and I will send you nothing in return."
Yep, nothing in return. He sent over $1 million worth of it was Ethereum he received, but I'll trade you nothing for Ethereum. People sent him $1 million for nothing.
It's so crazy, man. It shows you.
Yeah. Anyways, last article for the evening. We have New York City Spa gets heat for heating. Heat, that is, they got in trouble, sort of, with their constituents for heating with Bitcoin mining. And I thought this was brilliant. I talk about a great way to use the excess heat from Bitcoin mining. That is freaking awesome. But the thing that they're struggling with, despite the fact that they're literally heating their entire bathhouse with Bitcoin, and it's, like I said, that's brilliant. Some people are turning away from the business because they're disappointed about what they call energy waste. Like, all right, you're going to a bathhouse. all of that energy isn't necessarily being wasted because it's going to heating the pool. But in reality, it's still waste heat. They're just using it to heat a pool.
Mm-hmm.
So this time they're actually doing something with the energy. They're not just running heaters, they're running Bitcoin formatted heaters and using that excess heat to heat the pool. But the comment was that some people that were interviewed after this article or after what had come out about this particular company was they're like, well, where's that Bitcoin going? Is that illegal? And it's like, no, they're supporting the Bitcoin network and heating your damn pool. If you don't like it, go to another bathhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think this is brilliant. I think particularly anything, New York is often heated by steam, which is, what a bathhouse basically is. And so, to me, I think they should replace all the heaters in New York, all the steam heaters, with Bitcoin miners. That way, they have dual purpose.
Wait, say it again. Hold on. What?
So, a lot of New York, the buildings are heated by steam. This is a common thing. It's been going on for 100 plus years.
Yes.
I think they should replace the heaters in New York's underground that are heating the buildings and heating municipal buildings in there with Bitcoin miners. That way they have dual purpose. They're making Bitcoin, supporting the network, and making steam for New York.
Now here's the question. Is there any way to reuse the heat? There's got to be, right? There's got to be some sort of...
All right, so what they're actually doing, and the article specifies, is they're not
I know.
They're not making steam so much. They're basically just recycling the water through the pool, and when the pool water cools off, it goes back into the machine.
Right, but I'm just kind of thinking outside of the bubble, outside of the box, outside of the cube, outside of the coin, per se. Okay. Is there anything else we can do with just the heat? Instead of just letting it dissipate into neutrality.
What heat are we talking about? Which heat?
The Bitcoin heat.
You mean from all the Bitcoin miners that are out there?
Yeah.
I mean, you can capture it. It's possible to capture it and use it for other things. But I mean, you'd need a capture system. In my opinion, the best way of doing it is to do it through a liquid cooled scenario where you can actually transfer the heat somewhere else. But I mean, you could use the heat to make steam, to make power, but you're going to lose a little bit by doing that. So you're not going to be as efficient as you would be if you were just using the energy to make it directly in the first place. So, yeah, waste heat. I mean, you could use it to grow pot. Some people in California do that. So there's all kinds of things we need heat for. Cooking, heating bathhouses, making steam. I mean,
what about just taking a shower? Hot water. How about that?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's what they're literally making hot water. They're just making it for a bathhouse. Could you make it for your own? Could you? But the problem is, and I'm not saying this is entirely a bad reason. If you're gonna need a way to make heat all the time, then you should probably just put a Bitcoin miner underneath your water heater, or make your water heater out of a Bitcoin
what about, this whole thing with global warming and stuff, and there's some facilities over in like Greenland, big old Bitcoin mining operations in Greenland.
Yep.
I doubt that they're actually melting anything over there, but just on the off chance, it would be bad, yeah. Isn't it going to be bad for the fishes, I guess, or for the birds on Antarctica? I guess there's got to be something, right?
I don't think there's any Bitcoin mining operations anywhere in Antarctica or the Arctic at all.
Oh, no, in Greenland.
Right, but it's the southern tip of Greenland where people live. I mean, and it's actually not Greenland. Is it Greenland or it's Iceland? I thought it was Iceland. I thought no one lived in Greenland.
Okay, maybe it's Iceland.
So yeah, there's a lot of people in Iceland doing it, but it's because the power's so cheap.
Bitcoin mining in Iceland. Looking it up right now. Iceland has a long history of Bitcoin mining thanks to its cheap electricity and entrepreneurial locals. It was one of the first countries outside China to see industrial scale Bitcoin mining emerge.
Right.
Yes, also because it's cold.
Yeah. So I don't
Iceland is the
I don't
biggest
think
hash
they
rate
can
per
ever
capita.
generate enough heat in Iceland to melt all that ice. Honestly.
Never say never.
I highly doubt it.
You said it before, and you were wrong.
I highly doubt it. I mean, maybe in another 30 years or something, but not right now. Even if we moved all the Bitcoin miners and all the altcoin miners to Iceland and only mined there, we still wouldn't have enough energy to melt the ice. Trust me. It's not going to happen soon.
What if you moved all the Ethereum miners out there?
There aren't any Ethereum miners.
Exactly. Just still move them out there. Boom.
Anyways.
Over that now.
That's all we use. All the news we have for today. Thank you for joining us. God, my mom didn't shut off there. That's good. Don't want to stop recording in the middle. If you guys could please check out our... Oh, did I move it? Yes, I did. Let me go back to CoinGecko. CoinTree. CoinTree. Oh, yep, Tree. Why is this not working? I can't believe it. C3 Media. That's what I'm looking for. Nope, I spelled it wrong. Son of a gun. C3 Media. There we go. Okay, C3 Media. You can donate to us in many, many different formats. We appreciate it. If you'd like to send it directly to John, I'm sure he'd be happy to accept a couple of Satoshis. Yeah, we'll take a couple of Satoshis. But yeah, anyway, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Litecoin, Tron, Monero, Binance, if you can find it. Basic attention token, library, Helium, Matic, which actually Helium's on Solana now. Raven and Evermore also have Asset. If you'd like to send us assets, we appreciate it. Also, Litecoin Network, and you can communicate with us on Nostr. There's a ton of different things here you can catch our content on, not just on YouTube and Twitch, but also pretty much everything that Spotify rebroadcasts to. Tons of different places. Also, check out our C3 Media website. As we say at the end of every episode or show that we do, stack sats and hodl.
And hodl.
Adios.
Adios.